All right. All right. We're going to have a non-conventional stream here. Uh, well, I already got started here, but I mean, this is called the Magus or the Magus or uh, Magus, however you want to pronounce it. I pronounce it Magus because, like magic, Magus. Anyway, it sells itself as a solo tabletop RPG, but I like to just call it a journaling game, just because that's basically what it is. It's you and you roll your dice and you have to, I guess, role play it. So I've already gotten started here, and I'll just read the rule book. It explains it pretty well. Uh, let's see, that's just some behind the scenes stuff. Twilight arrives, stealing the sun's warm kiss, leaving only behind the silence and heaviness of a million years' worth of burdens. It is time. You gaze around across your workshop, like curious mementos, these patient witnesses to a life colored by deep yearning. Was it for power? Gods, you were strong, wielding fantastic spells to uncover stranger truths, or perhaps to exert control over an increasingly alienating world. Or was it for human touch? All this, for what? For connections that would barely quench your longing to belong? Shadows deepen, the moon rises, you are ready to depart. As you close this chapter of your life, you will reflect on your storied past, all your scars and regret. So, I've actually already written this, so I'm just going to write it out. I'm typing it out. I've already typed some. Magus. Magus? Yeah, Magus. You are the Magus, the wizard of the lonely tower, and with these pages you will reminisce your story. I, the Magus, you use your dice and pen to write in the Magus uh, history of the quest for arcane mastery. You will navigate strange encounters and confront complex opportunities, learning spells, or cultivate tenuous bonds. However, you only have time for 7 events before the end arrives. When the end arrives, the story is complete. Whether willingly or due to forces beyond your control, the Magus permanently departs their tower and leaves her former life behind, ending determined by your decisions. I do not follow that strictly. Perhaps the Magus rides a one-way ship to the enigmatic north, or they may give up their life of magic for a rule days of peace. Or in your or if your actions present, they may turn to darkness and plunge your innocent lives for infinite power. Ultimately, this game compromises. As the premise lays out, the game can deal with complex and difficult scenarios, primarily isolation, ambition, even catastrophe. Should these heavy topics cause the perfect kind of high? That's some disclaimer stuff. Um, we'll need polyhedral dice 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 20. Pen and paper. A journal. Chronicle. Every time you resolve an event, you must write its details on the pages. You must check the Magus. Um, yep. So develop your backstory, decide an event, resolve, roll the dice, subtract and challenge several traits, focus, power, control, and scars, spells and bonds. Focus. You gain +1 focus whenever you overcome a challenge with distinction. Power, which basically like is what you roll. Your control. If you lose control, you have a chance of going haywire. The calamity is the end. Actually, it's bad. It's bad. Scars. Let's see a few examples. Scars give you chronic issues. Spells. A name. What it does and difficulty level indicates how hard this is. So it gives you a spell name by the event dice, and then you more like mango, Tahiti, Arthur. Bonds to people, events. It's what it is. Okay. So this is what I've written so far, and kind of went on. So I already wrote it out. Well, I wrote out some of it. I haven't written out all of it, but I wanted to just go along. I'll read what I have, and then I will, when I get to the end, I'll journal a bit more. Let's see. But the to me, like when I wrote this, I didn't like read it super thoroughly, and the Magus was a to me it's like a force. Well, I always like define it in each situation, so I guess I'll just read it. You can follow along if you want. Maybe I'll make it a bit bigger for you in the back. There we go. The Magus, the very essence of magic. I don't know if it's a place or a force of nature, but in my preliminary studies I've learned these things. So this is the background. Anyone can learn magic. It's not an intrinsic trait born into bloodlines or genes. So this is, uh, yeah. So this is what I rolled for. I didn't write it down, but um, I did roll for it. So yeah, Fey and unenchanted creatures freely use magic. So that was one of them. Um, how did you learn? I think I got you stole a forbidden book. And why my ambition began. Whatever, I'll just read it. You'll pick up as it go along. Anyone can learn magic. It is not an intrinsic trait born into bloodline or genes. However, these spells, incantations, and other magics can only be performed with the proper utterance of words. These words are difficult to pronounce and harder to find. Generations of fools sit babbling in their studies, hoping to stumble upon some spell and not immediately be rent stupid or to ash by its magnificence. One reliable way to learn is from the Fae. I guess I should capitalize it. Mischievous spirits who are said to be older than humanity. Some say they hail from the Magus itself. I see this as little more than speculation, for they are rare to share their secrets. And when they do, it is one truth for every 10 lies. Alas, there are whispers from them, a quiet voice of a spell when it is least expected, as if a taunt, a challenge, I don't know why, a challenge to recount, scribe, and recite. The word's not meant to be. These words are not meant for any known alphabet or higher manner of speaking. Using this knowledge, I plan to study and master the Magus. To wield this power for myself, I've acquired a book of notes scrawled by a late property owner. It is scrawlings with leather phrases and sentences all written on top of each other as if there were no more paper. On its own, this is useless. That is why I'm going off to seek a place of the Fae. If I can hear them, perhaps I can piece it together and gain the power of lost words. So this is the start. Start on 1. Power 1, focus 0, perfect control. I climbed off the train at the station. The cold hit my lungs right as I step off, causing me to cough. It takes a minute before I recover from the cold and damp mountain air. The station is pristine, apart from the overgrowth slowly reclaiming the edge of the concrete slab that forms the platform. I'm the only one to get off. Perfect. I deduce this only exists as a service station for crews. to clear the mountain passes that lead to the cities beyond. That's a mouthful. It's also proofreading, apparently. I take my bag and pull my coat tight against the mountain chill. The stations turn. The station steps down onto a dirt cart path. I begin my walk, following it over the foothills for hours until a small unnamed village comes into view. The Google Docs spell check sucks. Its grammar check sucks. The clouds slowly been growing closer and darker during my short trip. Raindrops were already striking the top of my head when I reached the first buildings. I duck inside the first doorway just as the torrential rain began. The bored-looking girl with a book splayed out in front of her looked up in surprise. Her eyes were twinkling and a smile grew across her face. I found the way she jumped up and started talking to me disconcerting. With the same breath, let's do this. All in the same breath. I need an editor. From her bottomless lungs, I had learned that her name was Maria and that this was her library, which caused me to smile, and she took as a sign to continue. She asked me question after question, 24 in total, while waiting for the answer to the last. I had gotten out that I had come to this isolated corner of the world to attract a fae. I expected her to roll her eyes and sit back down for believing in fairy tales, but her smile somehow grew wider. Can I come? Which gave me pause. Which gave me pause. I considered and thought, staring her down as she leaned against the counter. Do you know anything about the fae? Nope. Well, having access to her company and her library would be a boon. With a deep sigh, I accept that she can tag along. This is, I got one, so I got a bond. So let's see. Probably got kind, generous. Librarian cloistered in books. Kind and generous. Maybe I made something up there. How did you meet? Together you're strange folk in a strange town. This is it. Need help with a non-magical concern. Oh, wait, this is it. 4. Fascinated by you and your apprentice. Sure, that's what we got. So, on here, when you advance the story, you roll dice and take the difference. So here I rolled 4 and a 3, which is a difference of 1, which gave me page 2. And page 2, you learn your first spell. Versus difficulty 6. And since I'm power 1, I roll these 3 dice and need to beat 6. So I spent some time talking, getting to know Maria better. She watched in... Oh my god, this is so bad. Just silence, but excitedly... Oh, watched in silent but excitedly, hanging on every word. She listened in a way no one ever did. She seemed to have a type of respect I had never had before in my studies, an admiration for what I was doing, for who I was. I hurried on as the rain slowed and abated. As the sky cleared, As the sky cleared, I looked outside and told her I needed to bid my farewell. I turned to leave and opened the door, but from behind I heard a word. Language. It was faint, like a whisper. Confused, I turned around and asked Maria, "Language?" She looked at me with a confused expression, like what I said didn't make any sense. "Why did you say that? I thought that's what you said." I didn't say anything. Furrowing my brow, I start to think. Repeat to me what I just said. Balto something else I can't say. Write it down for me. Maybe I should use some commands there. Write it down for me. I said quickly. Following up. She tried to recreate the word, which only produced the nonsense mix of letters and spaces. I had to rewrite the word again and again. Each time it grew a little closer, more compact. I started seeing letters I recognized. It was narrowing down the sections, refining it down like a blacksmith would refine a piece of steel, until, in my hand, a word. Language. Maria swears she can't understand it, but I can. Clear as day. This is the spell needed to understand the words of the Fae. Like infants, others try to stumble on some pattern of syllables and letters that give results, but here I am, already a master, able to read the lost language. I was so excited and flooded with joy that I grabbed Maria by her waist and lifted her into the air. I spun her in a circle while she squealed. That's not how you spell squealed. Is it? Whatever. Apparently it is. Was shared in the joy. Though even with the breakthrough, there was a nagging feeling in the back of my skull. Why me? Why reveal this to me? Now. Here. Only time will tell. And then at certain breakpoints, you have to reflect. So I got 6, but here's reflect. If you have 2 events under your belt, take a breather. Answer these prompts. If not, come back and do this afterwards. And then it says, ask yourself, if you have bonds, how do your bonds connect and humanize you? What makes them indispensable? If you have no bonds, how do you spend your time alone? So, Maria is the first person I've met in this faraway place, and in the same afternoon I've already made a great strides in my research. Maria possesses a joy that is contagious, and a curiosity that rivals my own hunger for knowledge. She seems more than happy to help on a whim. I will keep her close so she can prove useful to scribe the words I've learned. I only need a few and I could be rich. A few useful ones and I could be wealthy. A few powerful ones and I could rule. Though, I would need to learn more. My time here is not at an end. And then I got here. This is the deceitful symbol. So, let's see. So, when you come here for a spell, you roll the d6 twice. So I got 1 and 1. So it's a deceitful symbol. Whoop. Closed it. Leaving the library, I went forth. And how I did this is I didn't start with it. I kind of like built it up, and then I rolled the challenge just to kind of have a little stress. Deceitful symbol. Leaving the library, I went forth to seek lodging for an extended stay. The sun was starting to set thanks to the time spent on our forging of a word. I walked to a large building and went inside to find another bored looking person in this place that time forgot. My head already ached, a deep tired pain behind my eyes. I hardly looked at the barman as he requested a room. He looked half surprised, but for a paltry sum I got my key. The room was dusty, with a thin layer on everything inside. This place hasn't been touched in years. I went to the window and opened it to release the stagnant air. As the cool, damp mountain air hit my face, I feel something. I hear it, a whisper on the wind. I look down to the forest to see something on the tree line. There is a call, and I must answer. I run down the stairs and out the front. Trekking? Okay, sure, whatever. Trekking to the line of the forest where civilization meets nature. The whispers grow louder as I travel along it, finding the place where they seem to originate from. They tell me what needs to be done. I reach out for the They tell me what needs to be done. Reach out for the resources. Two twigs broken from a tree, layered on top of each other like an X. Then long grass circling a twig in a loop, and then the next with a loop, then the next, around and around, picking more grass as the last run out. I worked feverishly until I created a talisman. The glass rippled out and layered over top the blades like a diamond, still sparkling and dripping with dew and rain. Then there were only the words left to say, and I say them. I should have a pause. And then there was only the words left to say, and I say them. The talisman lifts into the air, and darkness surrounds it to form in a form similar to a man's, but amorphous around the edges. The only physical aspect is the talisman I've just created lodged in the center of its chest. And then this is what I rolled. 1, 7, 12. 2 successes. With fear but this decisiveness, I reach out and grab the symbol, attempting to snatch it back from the creature. Then as I try to pull my hand back, it's stuck. My fingers were locked around it, my muscles froze in place. The shadow sunk into the talisman, into my hand itself. Slowly the feeling crept up my arm, into me. Terror, certainty, overwhelming feeling of being lost. Things that were always there, buried deep down, but now piled on top, forced to be looked at and experienced. Was this me? A manifestation of what I hide? What I lie about? I stand inside this trees with my arm outstretched, clutching the talisman. The ache of muscles building as I contemplate the stirring emotion. The ache turns to a burn. It's too much. My arm falls like a stone, dragging me down to my knees. I climb back to my feet. I feel like there should be something. I climb back to my feet and stumble my way back to my purchased room. My hands still trembled as I clutched the symbol during the journey. Through the field, into the building, up the stairs, through the door. I stumbled to the bed and set the symbol onto the nightstand before collapsing into the sheets. The second my hand left the item, I fell into the most blissful black sleep I ever had. That's as far as I've actually written. I know it probably sucks. But yeah. I wrote it here on actual paper, an actual book, like a caveman, like an actual scholar. Need a big old feather. But this is the next part where you can write. So let's see what I got here. I rolled a 4. Then 4 plus 6 equals 10. So I gain a new bond, or you nurture an existing bond. Gain a focus, or get another bond. Okay. So I wrote this a long time ago, so I don't quite remember what it did. So let's do this. 5 minus 4. We are on page 10. Focus is now 2. Actually, it's 1 plus 1 because we had 1. Power is 1. We have perfect focus. And I guess if you have any critiques or you want to like add something, I guess we can work that in. All right. Next morning, I awoke feeling kind of numb, but well. I sit up. Maybe I used too many commas. From sleep. I just clothed myself. Oh my god, I've gotten like 3 spam calls in the last 30 minutes. Let's enclose my... How about preparing? I was ready to leave. See Maria. When I looked back and realized I've forgotten something. It was not a part of my usual kit. That grass pendant. I reached out and grabbed it. Got it. Suddenly I was overcome with despair. Every emotion withheld by the talisman rushed back into me. I dropped it, and my mind was calm. Though the tears in my eyes remained. I kind of wrote this in like whatever person I felt like at the half second, so I'm kind of changing it to whatever tense I felt like. But I guess technically it's like a journal, but it's whatever. It's whatever I want it to be. It's the solo role playing game. Anything can happen. I can do whatever I want. I knelt down and collected myself. What kind of artifact? I'd created. How about I just write it out? I had created. Still, something tells me that I need it. That it is a part of me. I used a spare piece of twine and I wrote a lot of stuff here, but I'm just going to say and formed a necklace. I can manage to wear without directly touching it. I go to see Maria. Maybe that should be a paragraph. I go to see Maria, and I find her sitting in her library, like I wish I could type. I must type. I must kill the keyboard. She jumps up with a smile, asking what spells and magics we'd find here today. I tell her about what happened last night. But I can see she looks uncomfortable as I talk. You sound different. I hadn't paid attention before. To my manner of speaking. Oh. My manner of speaking is more leveled, monotone, dull. I hold up the talisman and grip it in my palm. Emotions well. Well, that makes sense. That's a verb, right? Here's from grief unexpressed, rage, anger suppressed, but also a rush of senses. Flickering lights, smells of dust and books, the sound of creaking wood, even the feeling of air on my skin. It is everything I feel. My emotions, my emotion. This is pretty cringe. It's akin to a being of pure logic. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna add this a super ego. Yeah, let's. How about that? Yeah, if you don't get it, the way I understand it, you have what's it? Your ego, your id, and like your super ego, and like your id is like your like primal instincts, and your super ego is like your purely rational self, and like your normal ego is kind of like what balances the two. So I'm gonna add that it's less cringe than just being like, I'm hyper logical. That does not sound logical. A super ego. I felt no different. Could I not notice? No wonder I never. Ah, heard the Fae. How about that? I wonder I never heard the Fae before. Dull men in dull rooms going through dull processes could never find this. I had to go to the end of the world just to feel, just to find a woman who made me smile. That's all I needed. I now know that magic requires emotion. That magic requires emotion. I crushed the talisman in my hand. The twigs and leaves falling to the floor as I kept what was stored. Oh, it's actually 2 plus 1. Because the last one was a major success, so I got to. As I kept what was stored. And weep to a friendly shoulder. I don't know if he knows her long enough to cry. Chicks hate that. Alright. That's that one. Concurrent viewers, 0. Yeah, that's about what I expect. Um... Recovering gay. Let's see, what else is here? We've also had focus goes to 0. Power goes from 1 to 2. So then I roll another 4 is a ton to roll, by the way. Then I rolled 2, so that puts us at 12. I wonder if I can change what game we're playing. I don't. That's not the right game, but whatever. All right, then we have to reflect. I don't know what Maria thinks. I don't think she understands. The nature of the work. Perhaps she knows more about it than I could. She seems compassionate. Either way, happy to let my emotion to her. Why is she in this? This quiet town, though. A joy like her would be welcome anywhere. I have to tread carefully, though. I need to repair my rapport. It's just rapport. It's like a French word, right? You don't say the T. Before I pry into her or her history. So hard to use everything I have here. I'll pursue magics and show her wonder she can transcribe. Become easy here. Perhaps we can. First, I can publish a book. And he aspirants will pay handsomely for a few scraps. Few writers wait. Few written full spells earn me a wondrous sum. perhaps enough to live happily ever after. There is more work to be done before we get that far. Alright. Anybody still watching this cringe? So what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. So we got power 2, focus 0, perfect focus. Days passed. To know Maria better. However, whispers return in force, like an avalanche that crashed down on me from my slumber. I'm manic, gathering materials I do not understand. I am watching from my body rather than piloting. Mirrors! I need mirrors. I clamor for every one I can find. The wardrobe, the standing mirror, the bathroom. Was fixed to the wall, so I smashed it. There's some more shards to add to the growing circle. My room is exhausted of them. I take to the downstairs. I take every reflective surface down to the tin plates. I polish into a gleam with my cracking hands. Cracking hands. I was thinking of like the skin cracking on a hand. I don't know if there's a better way to say that. There's no priority but seeing myself. There's no higher priority than seeing myself. All of myself. Over and over again. Maria walked in and found me. I was bleeding from the many cuts crisscrossing in my flesh. I am beyond my abilities. I can't stop though. Our circle is drawn in the center of the room. Mirrors, plates, shards. And baubles all around. All around. On every flat surface, I put my hands up and slowly looked over to her in a trance. To run. My lips taken by another. I can hear her.
It's the cornbread.
I can hear her scream to stop as my hands outstretched. Every facet of myself. And this is the name. Stable. I don't know how I got mirrors from this. Bear with me. Ah, mirrors, there it is. Let's see. It's the unstable vengeance of mirrors. And then I rolled a 4, a 6, and a 3. Like, just terrible. And what was the challenge? Was like what, 10? 9? Okay, cool. Get just have 0, dummy. Congrats. Sacrifice a bond or lose a level of control. Uh-oh. There was no hope. None. Aspects of myself. Different actions. Split timelines of what could have been. A crushing weight of 2 timelines. Split lime lines. Cubed to the 4th, 8th, 16th. Every split timeline, and then oh. to the kaleidoscope of colors in the wardrobe. Let's see. Making my mind with another 1,000 splinters. I count all. I don't know why I put this in another 1,000 splinters. Maybe I'm trying to stretch time. Like, oh, but I put like 999, which is kind of weird. I count all 999 as it shatters into 1,000 shards, breaking my mind with another 1,000 splinters. I count all 999 as they point. Family recipe for apple dumplings. Between this thing that cubes the apples, the simple nature. Man, that's the best, is having a recipe. Uh, having a recipe everyone likes, and it's also like super easy to make. Like chicken and dumplings isn't that hard to make if you do it a certain way, because you can just get the noodles and like some chicken breast and cut it up and put it in a pot with like some celery and some chicken stock, and like you have a really easy supper, and no one tends to complain about that. Ah, another way. In the future, I throw myself in front of the door. Feel the glass. In a minute. Okay. So, also made it last night. I mean, I guess people like it if you have enough space to keep writing it or to keep making it. People open their stomachs and their hearts. So here's where it gets wild, is that I roll a, all right, so I roll a 1 and a 6, which gives me 5 plus 12. Because when you advance the plot, you roll 2 dice and you take the difference, right? So I roll a 5. I think I'm supposed to reflect, but I only had one thing to reflect on, so that's what that last little bit was. So 12 plus 5 is 17, which just it blows through the whole plot, which puts me straight at the end, because this is it. This is the last prompt, and if I have more, I have to keep doing it. And the double success, which the difficulty is 11, which you can only succeed if you have power 3. You have a d20, which I mean is really good. A d12, which you have a 1 out of 6 chance of even getting a good roll. A d10 where you can't. And you know what the best success is? Your wish doesn't come true. Great. I think that says something. So, yeah. So, there's that. We are power 2. The focus is 0. We are cracked. Yep. Hi Rick, I know you'll be watching this later. You can't resist, unless it's cringe. It's cringe. Then you won't, and you'll probably just tell me that it's cringe. All right. So now we're in the end game. I only have 3 pages left. I was like, where do you go from here? I sped run this game. Fire. English is weird. In my back. I'm face down. I'm some sort of table or counter or bench. My senses are stirred and focused by a tink into a metal dish. turn my head, seeing. Oh, the words ran together. Tweezers in hand as she pulls on the rod of glass from my back. Mia. Why'd you say that name? Stop. You're hurt. She was tending to my wounds. My fingers are so big. She was sending my friends. I felt hot, hazy, tired. I let my eyes close just as I felt them. I am ripped back. I feel the glass in my back shatter as I'm lifted into the air. It was overwhelming. Cannot control. Oh wait, I could never control this. Maria, I need a talisman. Let's convert to gather. My head in her shop. The twigs and grass swept up and scattered across her floor. The former whispers scream into my ears now, demanding things from me. I am no longer my own. I am a tool, a vessel. The very Manus. I can see Maria trying to restore the symbol. Power of the world. Is inside me. Anything I could want would only cost my existence. Maria rusts the haphazardly assembled symbol towards me. I reach out. How would she know how to put it together? Whatever. Maybe she saw it. Reached out. Up against hope that it could work. It had to work. So this is page 17. I rolled a 8, a 7, and a 5. So who voted yes? Who voted cringe? Someone came in, voted cringe, and left. Didn't even say anything. Didn't even tell me I was cringe. Who would do such a thing? So oh, that's an 8 on the hazard die or whatever it was. I rolled an 8, a 7, and a 5, and then I wrote an 8. On the, what is it, the mayhem dice or something? Oh my gosh, so far. Could always sacrifice someone. The calamity die. The risk die. I went too far. No, I didn't. The risk die is an 8. Every aspect of Spreading open. In the greater world. So I have to have 7 entries, so that's basically why it's written like this. Is that you have to roll 7 times or have 7 events. And then so if you reach the last one, the hardest one, you just have to keep rolling until you perish in some way, or well, you conclude it or you perish. One is a crusty bus station. The other is a crusty, busty crustacean. Yeah, it's like what's the difference between a tuna and a piano? You can tune a piano, but you can't piano a tuna. A run down bus station. One's a crusty bus station. The other one's a busty crustacean. Oh, my leg's asleep. All right. I'm not strong enough. I can feel them escaping. Turn me into a portal for their own means. They tricked me with the promise of learning. I advanced too quickly, learned nothing. I cannot allow this. She would be my salvation, but it would crush my heart. So here I'm pretty sure I'm broken now. My control is broken. So if I fail again, okay, here's the situation. So you do this, you I think this was event 5, and then this was 6. So I was cracked before. Now I did this, which there was no way to succeed. So I'm trying to pull stuff out of my ass. And then the control's broken there. And then And then here, if it breaks again, where is it? The calamity. So if you lose control, you just trigger a calamity. So uh, triggers a global conflict. A meteor is rained down to the earth. The spell consumes humans. Basically, like, this is the worst thing that could happen. Everything will be all right. You can roll a d6 or write your own ending. All right. So we're trying our best to avoid that. I grab her wrist, transferring the spell to her. Her scream broke my heart. I betrayed her, so I didn't have to take the scar or the wound or whatever. Heart. But it buys me the moments I need. Shoving the talisman over her head. Her go immediately silent. She falls to the ground. In chapter. This is where it ends. Honestly, people misusing your magic in the future is probably going to be the most realistic, but also boring one to get. People misusing magic in the future is probably the most realistic. Misusing, yeah. It's kind of over. This is like the epilogue now. I guess it's kind of the thing is that you lose control. I'll start cocky and confident, and then just immediately it falls off. Like he like launched ahead. He rolled a 5. I think is that the max you can roll? It's been roll a d4 and a d6. Yeah, 5's the max. So he just. Is it you? Degrade your control by 1. Are the ones around you? Yep. I have to hurt someone else instead. Strike off the bond closest to the Magus. They are maimed, reviled, alone, or even dead. Right how? Right how your act. Right how? Like this. Right how? How your actions led to this irrevocable harm. Dude, sex chat 69. Nice. Just go to Google and type in boob. Should I ban the bot? I mean, it's a viewer. Uh, I'll just hide it. Right. You're not banned. You're just hid. I want your view. I'm not hitting it big. Man, women want me for my writing. Six chat 69. Nice. I harness the bots now. That Corey Bonds, the noobs guide to Warhammer guy, his account got hacked like today. And now they're running Elon Musk crypto scams on it. Like, you can't at least be a little original. Come on. It's been a year since the events listed previously. Both Maria and I now wear our symbols religiously. I also had a book at the beginning, completely forgot about it. It's not relevant to the plot at all. We have both settled into town life. A new and strange couple among the others here. We keep to ourselves apart from the normal daily business. I have settled into balancing the books and finances of the town, and Maria resumed her role of tending to her small library. This is a humble existence. Every full moon, we must renew our symbols, and in that moment, we doff the old and don the new. I am forced to feel, to hear the clamoring from inside. I am always deathly afraid. And then I am not. I am a There's that line again, of pure logic. I like the super ergo line more. But I'm putting it in because it's a callback. And so is Maria. These Fae, they thrive on emotion. Latch onto it. I am afraid of them. Therefore, I cannot be. Is that weird? She no longer smiles. I use commas too much. No longer laughs. We do not speak unless to relay information. We are not kept together by any bonds but circumstance and convenience. I mean, like, it's kind of a sad existence. It's kind of what I was going for. Like, I care not for emotion. Basically just a Vulcan. Is there smile, joy, optimism? That is gone now. I do not feel what is lost. Only know that it has been, save for the full moon night, whatever, fuck that. Crafting these symbols. I do not dare indulge in spells. One lapse, one break, and it could spell the end of all things. I gaze on Maria, tell myself I'm happy. I know this is a lie, a falsehood. I cannot prove that I am not, though. What the hell did I write? Perhaps the act of checking if I feel happy changes what I feel when I take it off. I tell myself this. There. It's over. Stream done. Tools, edit. It's their spelling and grammar. Ignore. Sure. I take to the. Why not just go? Why not use go? Because I take to the downstairs is, you know, art. Not all by myself, all of myself. Not lustfully, listfully. It's obsolete. I mean, if you do like listing, like if a ship lists, yeah, what does it mean when the ship is listing? Listing is a nautical term to describe when a vessel takes on water and tilts to one side. So if you is that a hyphenated word? Listfully? I'm like making up a word here. A list if you're listful, you're attentive and listening. But Google Doc, it's not a good spell checker. It's not. Uh, I I I had put it into like my word 2010, I think, and it was way better. Like the spell checker included in that, like it caught all sorts of grammar errors and stuff. Just a I no, we're changing the and rented. No, rent is a word. It's the past tense of rend. Nah. Okay. Yeah, rend like like you rend fat from skin. It's just like just it just means to like remove like off a layer or something similar. All right. Jonathan was here the whole time. How was my cringe? Oh, I got more cringe. 3 votes for cringe. You can only vote if you type in chat though. That's all I'm counting. All right. Well, it must be the bots. Yeah, they come in, go analyzing. Yep, cringe cited, and then they vote in my poll and they tell me it's cringe. Well, I'm gonna go get lunch or dinner or supper or whatever you want to call it, and yeah, glad it's done. Alrighty, bye bye.